Moschino used to roast fashion from the front row. Now it can't get a seat at the table. Back in 2014, Jeremy Scott's McDonald's-themed runway made headlines. The brand was as viral as it was irreverent. But after a decade of punchlines, the viral playbook ran dry. With leadership whiplash, creative gaps, and a 21% revenue drop shaking its parent company Afe, Moschino's greatest risk is fading away, not blowing up. So why did the satire formula stop selling? And can the brand survive being the butt of its own joke? In this video, I will show the exact moment Moschino's satire turned into a trap, why the viral era ran out of fuel, and why the brand is now trying to reposition itself for survival. In a minute, I will show the single biggest problem with satire as a business model. Jeremy Scott didn't just walk into Moschino, he detonated it. Appointed creative director in 2013, Scott took the brand's original taste for irony and dialed it up to 11, right as social media was turning every runway into a global meme factory. His first major act was the Fall 2014 collection, which swapped gold chains for golden arches. Models strutted out in McDonald's red jackets, fries became purses, and the Moschino logo morphed into a parody of fast food packaging. The world didn't just watch, it reposted, tweeted, and memed every look. By the next morning, Katy Perry and Anna Dello Russo had already worn the collection off the runway. Vogue, WWD, and other major outlets ran headlines, and the collection's accessories sold out almost instantly. For a moment, Moschino wasn't just in on the joke. It was the joke everyone wanted to buy. Scott doubled down for spring 2015 with a Barbie-themed spectacle. Hot pink plastic, roller skate heels, models styled like living dolls. Instagram feeds exploded. The Barbie motif didn't just nod to Franco Moschino's original camp spirit, it updated that spirit for a world hungry for viral content. The show's looks became Halloween costumes, party themes, and most importantly, retail gold. Reports from the time say 75% of Moschino's accessories sold out within days. The brand's revenue jumped nearly 7% in 2014. The kind of spike that gets boardrooms buzzing. But this wasn't just about sales. Scott's genius was turning runway moments into cultural currency. He understood that in the Instagram era, the value of a collection wasn't measured by craft alone, but by how fast it could travel from Milan to a phone screen. For Moschino, the punchline became the product. Boardroom translation. Jeremy Scott didn't just design clothes. He engineered moments that went viral on command. In a business obsessed with buzz, Moschino's runway became the most valuable marketing campaign money couldn't buy. In a minute, I'll show you why that same playbook came with a built-in expiration date. Moschino's runway did more than set trends. It set off chain reactions. Each show became a marketing engine, firing on all cylinders before the models even left the catwalk. The formula was simple. Build a spectacle so outrageous it could not be ignored, then let the internet do the heavy lifting. By the time the last look cleared the runway, screenshots had already gone global. Instagram, Twitter, and fashion blogs pumped out the images, turning Moschino's punchlines into viral currency. But the real trick was how that attention turned into revenue. The runway was not just a stage, it was a funnel. The headline-grabbing pieces, giant fries, and Barbie pink were magnets for clicks. The real sales happened in the brand's more accessible lines. Cheap and chic, Love Moschino, and logo accessories flew off shelves. Reports from the era point to sell-through rates that would make most luxury executives jealous. Accessories sold out in days, and the brand's revenue jumped almost 7% in 2014. The spectacle at the top drove a feeding frenzy at the bottom. This was not about slow burn luxury or heritage storytelling. It was about speed. How fast could you turn a meme into a must-have? The answer, fast enough that department stores started timing their buys to coincide with the online hype cycle. Wholesale partners saw the social metrics spike and rushed to place reorders before the buzz faded. Moschino's business model started to look less like a traditional fashion house and more like a content platform. The runway became a pipeline, pumping out moments designed to be screenshotted, shared, and most importantly, shopped. For a few seasons, this engine ran almost too well. The more outrageous the show, the more units moved. The brand's DNA, satire, and irony became the ultimate clickbait, driving both headlines and bottom-line results. But there was a catch. The more Moschino relied on the spectacle, the harder it became to reset the joke. In a minute, I will break down why the same viral machine that made Moschino unstoppable also set it up for fatigue. By 2016, Moschino's shock tactics were no longer shocking. The first McDonald's and Barbie collections set the internet on fire. But when every new show tries to top the last, people stop reacting. Outrage becomes routine. Social feeds that used to be filled with Moschino's punchlines started scrolling past. The same oversized logos, cartoon motifs, and novelty accessories that once sold out in hours began to look like reruns. Buyers and critics called out the repeat formula, camp then, louder camp then camp, with a side of déjà vu. The fatigue did not just hit the press. Luxury shoppers who once paid for the joke began to ask if they were buying fashion or costumes. When the line between runway satire and a Halloween outfit blurs, resale value falls, and core customers drift. Moschino's punchlines, once clever, now read as gimmicks. In a world where every drop is designed to go viral, the audience gets numb. The joke, once fresh, had started to wear thin, and the brand's reputation went with it. Luxury shoppers used to chase the joke, but the mood in the market changed. Suddenly, the people paying 4 figures for a jacket wanted more than a meme moment. They wanted something that felt like an investment. Luxury analysts started tracking a new kind of buyer, one who asks about resale value, craftsmanship, and longevity before ever asking if a piece will get likes. When Moschino's punchlines got louder, the brand's core customers got quieter. The line between satire and costume blurred. For high-end clients, that is deadly. In a moment, I will explain how that silence shows up in the numbers. Costume means disposable. Investment means legacy. And when a brand's reputation tips too far into novelty, it stops being a safe place to park your money or your image. The result is clear. Moschino's viral formula, once a license to print money, started to look like a liability. The resale market softened for the loudest pieces. Stores hesitated on big reorders. Even loyal fans began skipping drops, waiting for pieces they could actually wear more than once. When every drop is a punchline, nothing becomes iconic. That is the trap. If your business is built on the joke, what do you sell when the audience wants to be taken seriously? David Rene stepped into Moschino's creative director role in late 2023, carrying the weight of a brand in turmoil and the expectations of a global fashion audience. Known for his years at Gucci, Rene was seen as the steady hand who could steer Moschino away from viral burnout and back toward thoughtful, wearable design. But the promise of a new chapter never had a chance to unfold. About 10 days after his appointment, Rene died suddenly, reportedly of a heart attack. The news sent shockwaves through the industry, and it left Moschino's staff and fans reeling. Official statements from Effie and the fashion press described Rene as a creative mind with a deep respect for the house's playful roots. Tributes poured in from colleagues who spoke of his kindness, his vision, and the excitement he brought to the role, even in such a short window. No sketches, no collections, no interviews. Just a brief, hopeful interlude that ended before it could begin. The creative void was immediate and total. For a brand already struggling to redefine itself after a decade of spectacle, the loss was more than a setback. It was a pause button pressed at the worst possible moment. Within weeks, Moschino was once again leaderless, forced to regroup while the business world watched. The promise of Rennie's direction became a question mark, hanging over a brand already caught between its past and its uncertain future. Adrian Appiolaza entered Moschino's revolving door with a job description that read more like a rescue mission. He was officially named Creative Director on January 24, 2024. His appointment came after months of uncertainty and an industry still reeling from David Rennie's sudden death. Appiolaza was not a meme maker or a viral showman. His background included stints at Loewe and Versace, credentials that signaled substance, not just spectacle. The press release promised a renewed focus on craftsmanship and playfulness, but the real test would come in Milan. On February 22, 2024, Appiolaza's debut collection hit the Fashion Week calendar. Gone were the cartoonish punchlines and headline-grabbing stunts. Instead, the runway offered a quieter kind of irreverence. Subtle house codes, tailored silhouettes, and just enough wit to remind buyers this was still Moschino, not a rebrand in disguise. Critics called the show playful yet sophisticated. The collection leaned on heritage motifs, hearts, chains, and trompe-l'oeil prints, but it dialed back the volume, aiming for longevity over the next viral screenshot. Industry coverage described the approach as toned down, a pivot away from costume toward pieces that could actually live in a luxury wardrobe. For a brand that once thrived on shock value, this was a calculated gamble. Appiolaza's first outing was not about chasing headlines. It was about convincing the market that Moschino could be more than a punchline. The message was clear. The era of viral spectacle was over. Now the brand would have to prove it could sell seriousness without losing its soul. In a moment, the business reality behind this reset comes into focus. FA's financials tell the story that runway reviews cannot soften. For fiscal year 2024, group revenue dropped by just over 21% compared to the previous year. FE framed the year as repositioning of Moschino under the creative direction of Adrian Appiolaza. Boardroom translation, the new approach is not just about aesthetics, it is about survival. The numbers kept sliding. In the first quarter of 2025, revenue fell 23.2% year over year. The ready-to-wear division, which includes Moschino's main collections, shrank by almost 30%. Wholesale and retail both took hits. Analysts pointed to weak demand in key markets and a retail environment where even loyal buyers hesitated. Perfume and cosmetic sales could not plug the hole. Behind the scenes, these drops meant pressure from every direction. Factories, suppliers, department stores, and investors all watched the bottom line shrink. The old viral playbook no longer moved product. The market appetite for toned-down Moschino had not kicked in yet. With the business in freefall, FA made another move. Goffredo Palmerini, Moschino General Manager and Chief Executive Officer, is set to leave by March 31, 2025. AFE described the change as a strategic and commercial redefinition. Boardroom translation, the parent company is clearing the decks for a reset. This is not just one bad quarter or a tough year. It is a brand whose story stopped converting into sales. When the parent company starts talking about repositioning and the CEO packs his bags, you are not looking at a blip. You are looking at a full-scale retreat. In a moment, I will break down what repositioning actually means for a brand built on satire, and why the next move is riskier than any viral stunt. Moschino stands at a crossroads, and neither path is risk-free. The first option is a return to the house codes. Think Franco Moschino's original playbook, tailored irreverence, clever motifs, irony baked into the seams, not splashed across a meme. This approach bets on longevity. It's about building pieces that feel iconic, not just viral. The upside is clear. Wholesale buyers and luxury clients might finally see Moschino as an investment again, not a one-season punchline. The catch is real. Play it too safe, and you risk becoming invisible, a heritage house with all history and no heat. The loudest fans, the ones who bought fries and Barbies, may start calling the new collections boring. The second option is to evolve the humor, not abandon it, but refine it. Move from slapstick to satire that is intelligent, wearable, and built to last more than a single Instagram cycle. That means collections that wink at the industry without screaming for attention. Done right, it could make Moschino the smartest brand in the room, not just the loudest. But there is a trap. Go too subtle, and the brand's DNA is diluted. Go too camp, and you are back in costume territory. Great for Halloween, deadly for resale value. Both strategies come with their own headaches. Lean too hard into seriousness, and you risk losing the one thing people remember. Cling to spectacle, and the brand stays stuck in a loop, forever chasing the next viral moment that never quite lands. The real challenge is rebuilding trust with buyers who want both wit and wardrobe value. The next move is not just about design. It is about proving that Moschino can grow up without growing dull, and that satire can survive even when the punchline has faded. Moschino's financial freefall, over 21% revenue drop in fiscal year 2024 alone, shows what happens when a brand's punchline stops converting. In an industry obsessed with reinvention, survival now demands more than irony. As fashion houses scramble to stay relevant, Moschino is a warning. Today's viral formula can become tomorrow's liability. In a market this ruthless, satire is not a shield, it is a test. Drop your take below.